CFB Paint back for another week. Should we spin ahead to week 8?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Do
All
you want to talk
right.
about games that we're excited about, or just talk about our our picks?
Yeah, I mean, we'll at least highlight some stuff. From the midweek, I mean, a sneaky good team that not many people are paying attention to, and good relative is a relative term, right? Sam Houston, this is their second year in FBS. They're 5-1 and
Yeah.
2-0 in Conference USA, and looking like the class of the conference. Now they host Western Kentucky on Wednesday of this week, and they're 3-point favorites according to ESPN Bet. Again, I just have ESPN right in front of me, but um, they're they're out there just beating teams, and they had that big comeback win against Texas State. So just quick hat tip to Sam Houston, the Bearcats, who spell it with a K. What are we doing here? But other games. Okay, here's the big one. Here's the most critical question that we're gonna have. Is Florida State, who's currently 1-5 and plays on the road at Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina, against the Duke Blue Devils, who are 5-1. Is this the first time that Duke beats Florida State in football?
You want my answer, or do you want?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just curious. What?
No, they're not beating Florida State.
Oh, okay. I just but it's in serious jeopardy. Can we agree that it's like that undefeated, they've never beat us sort of deal is?
I mean, the line is
never been more in doubt.
Duke is favored.
I think for the first time ever.
Yeah.
In this series.
Florida State, I'll be surprised. Florida State's bringing up their youth. Duke has not done well scoring the ball. I mean, I think you put up 20 against UNC. You've been scoring in the 20s the last 2-3 games, and Florida State hasn't been scoring that much. But their defense is better than the defenses that Duke's been going against. That's why I think that I believe that Florida State actually wins this game. Actually, it's one of my picks too. So.
Okay. Sorry, spoiler alert there. I want to believe.
Also, picking Florida State against my better judgment because it's not the happiness insurance flow, you know?
Yeah. Well, the problem here is I've been okay, basically fade Florida State wherever possible, but now Duke's favored, and it's okay. Can I know if I was to just say, hey, Duke -3, let's go. I know that Florida State will find a way to play the game within the points, but still lose the game. So I just I don't know what to do with that one. And so I am extremely nervous that this is the year it all comes crumbling down. Or I guess it's already come crumbling down, but I'm just saying that would be the one thing that us Florida State fans can hold on to, hey, we've never lost to Duke. And that might be the one thing you could hold still over Miami's head. They have a great year of well, y'all have lost to Duke, so I'm not talking to y'all because you guys have lost to the worst team in this conference that's always been bad, and we've never lost to Duke. But if you lose that one, lose that little talking point because you're going to get boat raced by Miami next week. Let's just make that clear. And now they've made it so that's an evening game, so you're going to be embarrassed on national television with probably a reasonable audience until they switch over to some more compelling game. But
I think Glenn's going to have a come out against
Duke.
Yeah, Hakeem Williams is getting the start. I think this Florida State team starts putting things together.
All right, I think
they get boat race. They might not get boat raced by Miami. We'll see what happens with the Duke game, but I think they against this Duke game they should win.
I think they'll play hard against Miami until Miami scored 14 points, and then they will pack it in. Once Miami scores 14 points, all the effort from both sides will go. Again, you might still be in that game. It might be 14-7 if you have a good opening scripted drive, but the second they score 14, oh well, we're not winning. We tried.
Yeah.
Okay, other games. Yeah, this is an interesting Friday night slate for us because as Florida State fans and BYU grads, you get both of them on the same night. I will be in the stadium for BYU taking on Oklahoma State. 0-3 in the Big 12 are the Cowboys. And I just it's interesting. we need to do. I need to take some time this next week and do like an analysis of like now that we have some data points from like conference play, looking at some of the results from like out of conference games is fascinating, right? Arkansas lost to this Oklahoma State team. Probably you could argue they should have won the game, but they did lose. And then they beat Tennessee. They're who are they close against the other week? And they host LSU this week. And I mean, if that doesn't spell like okay, LSU's coming off an emotional win, and now you got to turn around and go into Fayetteville and play the Hogs, who are coming off a bye. Like, there's some danger there, but like again, like it's just one of those things where it's like it's interesting because like Oklahoma State, not a very good team in the in the Big 12, or at least not so far, beats a team that's expected to be bottom of the row or bottom of the barrel when it comes to the SEC, but they so far have not been. Like, we'll see if they're able to continue that. But a couple of other interesting results that I just was starting to think through, like BYU beating SMU is actually really fascinating now. Like, now that SMU's found its footing, that's their only loss. They're undefeated in the ACC and look like they could run the table. Like, there's just lots of things. But going back to this game, BYU, Oklahoma State Friday night, Oklahoma State extra rest. BYU just had big noon kickoff. And everyone patting them on the back, and a late night game. So yeah, quick turnaround for them. 6 days, not even a full 6 days of rest. Could be trouble. It just feels like a game that'll be tighter than the 9.5 point spread indicates.
100% agree with you. I think if you look at ESPN bet, they moved it down to 8.5 so far. So.
Oh, did they? I'll need to refresh my page here. Anyway, all right. A couple other games that I wanted to just highlight. In what I think will be the last real test for the Miami Hurricanes, they go on the road at Louisville. And again, the ACC/ESPN does them a solid and says, "Hey, we'll give you a noon kickoff." Don't let that place be like super loud at night. Which maybe after traveling to Cal, like the back and forth there, and I obviously had the bye week, but Miami has not done well off of a bye, and that stretches back like several coaches. I need to go back and find the actual stat, but I think in the last 15 years, like they have I think it's like a 33% win percentage off of a bye, something horrific. Like they just haven't done it, and it's been across. Like I think it goes all the way back to Randy Shannon, like between like Shannon, Al Golden. I don't know if you'll be able to find that one with a quick Google search, but they are dreadful off of buys, and it's across multiple coaches. Mario Cristobal's had it in both of his seasons so far where they lose off of buys. So we'll see if they got something. Louisville won, but didn't look particularly sharp. Maybe a little bit of a look-ahead game as they played UVA, knowing that they had Miami on deck. I'm excited for that one. I think the point total is low.
You think so?
Yeah. 60.5. This game's going to be almost played in the 40s, I'm pretty sure. I feel like it's a full touchdown too low. Sorry, the point total, not the spread. Gotcha. But I do think Miami covers. Like what, they're like a 4-point favorite. I think they cover that. I think they win. But I do think this is a game where Miami's probably going to need 35 points to win it. Like they're going to need 35. They probably get into the low 40s. I think Louisville.
I think that 60 total is about right, and I think Miami wins this by about 14.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I see this one going like something like 42 to 31, something like that. They win sort of comfortably. They cover the spread, but also give me the over.
Gotcha.
Okay, sorry, I took a little bit too much time going through all of those. What games stand out to you? Which ones are you excited to see?
I mean, you got to go Georgia, Texas, of course.
Bingo.
And then I think, yeah, like it's just gonna be a fun game. See what happens with these two now SEC powerhouses going in. New Mexico and Utah State. I'm kind of interested to see just because Bronco always had Utah State's number when he was at BYU and he gets to go play.
He killed them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you go to the night games, the Kentucky-Florida game, That's going to be interesting. It's going to be in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Florida has 3 wins. They're favored in this game. Do they break their win total? Like, I think people have been like, oh, they were terrible, and now they've kind of played
They're figuring
okay.
things out. Yeah, they're figuring
Yeah.
things out.
I'll give you my thought process to that in a little bit. But DJ Lagway start with Graham Mertz being out for the season. Um, is Mark Stoops able to carve up a defense that is just too confusing for DJ Lagway to figure out quickly? We'll see. He hasn't looked overly impressive to me unless he's played supremely worse talent.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the ingredients are there for Florida to exceed their win total, go to a bowl, keep Billy Napier. Like, I don't think he gets fired at this point. I didn't have them at 3-3 at this point in the season. I think I had them more at 2-4 and possibly even 1-5. But they handled UCF, which is one that I thought, all right, that's a potential loss. Tennessee, they lost that game, but I mean, they were right there. And again, looking at some of the complaints on Twitter, probably should have won, at least according to the Florida fan base. And I think they got opportunities here. So that one's exciting to kind of just see what comes of that. I think that's a really interesting test for DJ Lagway in his first start. He has the benefit of being at home, but has the unfortunate situation of going against Mark Stoops and him dialing up a defense that will make life hard on a true freshman. A couple of the games I want to just call out that I think are fascinating. We haven't talked about Indiana yet. They're a bunch of stone cold killers. Like, I love Curt Cignetti. I love how brash. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but just how confident he was in what was going to happen at Indiana. He's like, I win games. That's why I'm here. I'm here because I win games. And to his credit, he has yet to lose a game. And they host Nebraska, and they're favored. Big game for Indiana. I think big opportunity for Indiana. Man, you win that one, and we're getting pretty close to saying, like, okay, we have to start seriously considering that Indiana is a playoff contender, right? Like, I mean, if they win this game, then they host Washington, another winnable game, but a challenge. Then you're on the road at Michigan State, right in that same realm, right? Like, I wouldn't expect it to be like a major point spread one way or the other. And then you host Michigan. I got you losing that game, but I could change my mind between now and then, right? Then you're at Ohio State. Okay, you're losing that game, whatever. Like, you're losing that game, and then you host Purdue. Like, man, there is a world where they are 11-1. Like, that world exists, and it's awesome.
I don't disagree with you.
I'm just fascinated by that one. You got the Auburn goes on the road against Mizzou in the Who Wants to Win the Game Least Bowl. I don't know who's that one. Just I don't even know what to make of that one.
Missouri's still ranked. I mean, they've only lost one game, but they're under my tent of suspicion.
There you go. Yes, bingo. I know we're stealing that from Jeff Cameron, but it's just like, yes, they're the definition of a tent of suspicion team. We already talked about South Carolina, Oklahoma. Bama, Tennessee. Bama's winning this game, right?
Yeah, I think
they can score points. Tennessee over the last couple of weeks has just not. Come on, Nico, you're my Heisman pick. If you're ever going to get on that track, this is the week to do it. I just think, I think Bama's just got better talent kind of across the field. I feel like outside of the run game, Tennessee has struggled in the last couple of weeks. They do host. They are at home, 3:30 kick. You'd like to see that be a night game, but whatever.
It's that ABC game.
ESPN and ABC, yeah, they got to fill up every time slot with a good game, which is, I get it, but it's dumb. Are we ready for picks? We're an hour and 15 minutes in. Sorry, I've been dragging this out.
Let's do picks.
Alrighty. Okay. You want to go first, John?
Yeah. Do you want to pull up the board?
Yes, I'll pull up the board. I don't have it right now, but I can get it. Give me just a second.
Um, sorry for that. Yeah,
No,
no
you're
picks.
good.
So last week I wasn't here to make picks, so I just text Steve my picks. I can pull them up real quick.
No, I'll
Um,
share. I'll share here. Give me just a second.
While you're sharing, I'll go start off. I Clemson minus 21. They covered. Arizona plus 2.5. Kind of happiness insurance with BYU. They lost. Uh, Ohio State minus 3. Um, they end up losing by 1, so they don't cover.
Yeah, they didn't cover it. Here, I've got it right in front of you now.
LSU plus 3.5. The touchdown.
Let me fill that one in. Sorry, yes, that one is correct.
Yep. Vandy plus 12.5. I was like, come on, that game is at least going to be close, and they ended up winning it by 7. Syracuse minus 2. I was right there, and then USC plus 3.5. Penn State wins in an overtime, but USC still covers the 3.5. So I think I go 5-2 in this week. The week before, I think I wasn't here, but I think I went like 3-4. I think I'm doing pretty well.
Three and 4. I don't know your total. I'll get it. We'll tweet it out. We're sharing yours because for those that have made it this deep into the podcast, number one, thank you. Number two, Corey's replaced Brian as our new sharp. Like Brian, old news. Corey is the new hotness. You know, if you want to take the Men in Black 2 reference from old and busted with Brian, new hotness with Corey. 5-2 this last week. I can quickly, that's 8-6. We're at 11-9, 11-11, 16-11, 20-14. So okay, 7 games above. What we call that is statistically significant at this point. Well done. I think I'm still dead even. I again haven't added this up, but I will. Sorry. But yeah, I haven't added mine up. I think I'm dead even. It's not the disaster it usually is. So that part I'm gonna take as a win. But let's go ahead and get. Why don't you go ahead? We'll do this like golf, where the person who got did the best on the last hole goes first this on the next one. So
I will
hit us up with week 8.
Yeah. All right. Give me Florida State plus 3.5 at Duke. I think they win this game, but I'll take the points for sure. Give me Miami minus 4.5 at Louisville. I think we kind of talked about this earlier. I think Miami's better than Louisville. I think they blow this team out by, maybe not blow them out, but beat them by 14.
Minus 3.5.
Minus 4.5. Yeah.
Oh, 4.5. Thank you.
Speaking of Indiana, that minus 6.5 against Nebraska was not big enough for me to not pick them. Give me Indiana minus 6.5.
Oh, big time! That'd be big time if they win it by more than a touchdown. I guess a touchdown wins it, but
yeah, that's what I'm like. A touchdown. If it was minus 7, I might not take it, but I'm taking it. There's another line earlier that I saw. It was like minus 7.5. I'm like, if it was a touchdown, I would have took it. But give me Army, ECU at Army minus 15. We've talked about Arkansas in this LSU game. You think that this will be kind of a close game. I think LSU hit something that they needed to hit last week, and they're going to roll that momentum into the next week. Give me them minus 3 at Arkansas. DJ Lagway starts for UF this week. He's not looked impressive in any games. He kind of looks a little confused. Expect Mark Stoops to be able to do the same thing. Give me Kentucky plus 1 in the swamp. It's basically a pick 'em. I trust Mark Stoops more than I trust DJ Lagway. And then lastly, give me Michigan at Illinois. Give me Illinois plus 3. I think Illinois pulls the win out here. Luke Altmaier, man, I'm a big fan, and the kid's a gunslinger.
Illinois plus 3. That game is at Michigan, or they're hosting Michigan?
They're hosting Michigan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 picks. I'm gun shy. I'm not gonna lie. I am nervous. I'm looking at some of these and I just don't know what to think. Right. but I'm going to go ahead and fire a few off here. Okay. It is unfortunate that TCU didn't have 2 full weeks to get ready for Utah with Isaac Wilson, but, and I know Salt Lake's a tough place to play, but I think there's an opportunity for TCU to circle the wagons, to score a bunch of points, and Isaac Wilson has been mistake prone in his last couple of efforts against Arizona. He threw a handful of maybe not a handful of interceptions, threw a couple of interceptions. I like TCU to cover the 4.5 on the road versus Utah. So I will type that one in just a minute. I also like maybe something about the road dogs is getting me, and specifically the Big 12. The wrong team is favored when Colorado goes to Arizona, right?
You saying Arizona's favored, right?
Arizona's favored by 3.5.
I did not dare touch that game just because of the craziness that happened last year. And
yeah, it was a close game.
And also, I don't know if Travis Hunter's playing. Is that number?
I don't know that it matters. Like again, if he is, then definitely, because it's just like, okay, you follow around T-Mac and then we'll play this game 10 on 10. Yeah. and you have to like it. But I like Colorado to cover the 3.5 against Arizona in Tucson.
Yeah,
I think they win the game outright, but I'm going to take the points.
Yeah, going either way. So
Oklahoma versus South Carolina. Who gets up off the mat is the question. And right now, at this juncture, I trust Shane Beamer to get his boys motivated more than I trust Brent Venables in the gang. So I will take South Carolina plus 3 points on the road, coming off of a disappointing loss, but they know that they can compete. They know that they belong with these boys, and I think that they're able to do it. Beamer's able to convince them, this one we can win. This is one that we got to have. We're going to go bowling. So I'm going to take the points too, because South Carolina could find a way to fumble this away right at the very end. They've proven that they could do that. But South Carolina covers the 3 against Oklahoma. We are on the opposite ends of this Arkansas LSU game. I think Arkansas has had an extra week to get ready, to be rested, to scheme up a couple of things. I think they play ball control. They try and keep it out of LSU's hands. LSU, I don't really trust them to stop the run against a team that's going to be really physical with them, and I think Arkansas can do that. Arkansas plus 3 at home versus LSU. I'm going to take them plus the points. Finally, short week for Oregon after a very emotional game. Reading all the platitudes, all the compliments, everyone's gassing you up. I don't need you to win, Boilermakers. I just need you to not lose by 4 touchdowns. So give me Purdue plus 27 versus Oregon. So I just think that they'll have a chance. They had their best game of the season this last week. Obviously a disappointing loss that you couldn't finish it against Illinois, but I think they're finding themselves. I don't expect them to win this game, but Purdue has been giant slayers in the past, especially against large Big Ten favorites. So like that little piece of history, I don't think really
Oregon
comes into play here.
Purdue as well.
Yeah, exactly. You're at home, traveling on a short week for Oregon. I think they're just like, hey, let's get our win, let's survive. They've shown that ability to kind of just do that against a couple of other teams where they maybe on paper were significantly superior. Idaho and Boise State again was able to keep that game extremely close, and some could argue that they should have won it. I think that that's a game that maybe is closer than that point spread is, just for the fact that Oregon's going to be satisfied to win the game, get a lead, get a comfortable 2 or 3 score lead, and then run out the clock. So that is my last pick. What?
I like that pick a lot.
So yeah, those are mine. I'll put them on here. We'll tweet them out. But anything else you want to cover? We're almost an hour and a half into this, so 2 times speed, everyone.
Night. I'll watch all, but I'm excited for Friday night. So
yeah, it's a good slate of Friday night games.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for paying attention again, tuning in. Talk to us, hit us up on our socials, 5-star reviews, likes, and subscribes. We always appreciate it. We'll see you next time.